welcome to Winning on Wednesday. My name is Juan Vides, and the purpose we're here is to simply get to know each other. I always say people do business who they know, like, and trust. Speaking of knowing and liking and trusting, I would like to introduce my guest today is Matthew Lesko. Matthew, how are you today?
Fine, knowing, liking, trust. I guess you haven't talked to my ex-wives, have you?
Uh-oh, here we go. I love the way this is going to start. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Matthew.
Well, God, I mean, I'm 81 already, and I've had lots of lives, and this is the best life I have is right now. What I'm doing right now, it's more satisfying than ever. And I've had more success, at least for a little kid from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, more than I ever imagined would happen to me. And but now this is better than ever. If I knew 80 was this good, I would have got here earlier.
Oh, well. So so thank you so much for that. So take us way back. So you said Pennsylvania. That's where you got
Yeah.
started, right? This is where we were born and raised. So tell us where and how
Yeah,
was
that
yeah.
Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, little coal mining town. My grandparents were immigrants from Czechoslovakia and all coal miners. And Dad had a little business, and uh, I was flunking out of school. I hated schools all the time. I mean, I went to decent schools and stuff like that, but I'd flunk out. I just didn't enjoy the process. I wasn't malicious. I just make people laugh all day.
Gotcha, gotcha. I know it's and did you have any aspirations of what did you want to be as a kid? I mean, did you have any like
No,
I
I
mean
don't know what. God,
like some people have doctors and
yeah, no, I'm
veterinarians.
not like that. I wasn't a student, so everybody, that kind of stuff. I wasn't a good enough student. I remember I took the SATs to try to get into college, and I like two above plant life, but I got to Marquette University. But I took the SATs again with my kids. I have two boys that are in their late 30s, and when they first took the SATs as, I don't know, about 12th, not 12th grade, 8, 9, 10th grade, I took it with them. So the three of us sat taking the SATs together, and I got the same grade I did.
Oh no, 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 I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Oh, I
But
swear to God. No,
uh,
and that to me it was to show them that, hey, because where we lived in a higher income zip code, everybody's trying to go to Harvard and all this kind of bullshit. Why are my lights going down? You don't affect it at all. Okay.
it's okay. You're fine.
Uh,
You're still
and
beautiful.
so
You're
I
still
said, hey,
beautiful.
they admired me, and so it to show that this is not the end of the world if you don't get a high SAT score, and
Right.
and I think life to me was really trying to find my place. I went in the Navy 3 years, 2 months, 9 days because I couldn't get into grad school and the draft then. So I was a naval officer for 3 days, a diplomatic courier, and driving ships around the South China Sea, and I never had more responsibility again for the rest of my life. I
Well,
mean, as a kid, 22 years old, driving these
well,
ships.
I have to say thank you for your service, sir, because I don't take my freedoms for granted, and people that sacrifice themselves for this country. I just want to say thank you so much for that, and your time. So thank you for that. And the other
Well,
thing
I
is,
never
yeah,
think about
yeah,
it.
yeah. But any role models? Did you have any role models when you were growing up, or any?
No, uh, well, everybody was doing something. Um, I mean, and failure happened. I mean, I finally came back from the Navy, learned how to study and everything, got an MBA in computer science, and started a software company in the 70s that failed. Said another business that failed. And I just wanted a business. I didn't care. I wanted to learn how to feed myself because I was a shitty employee. I hated working for people. I hated being told what to do. That
Wow.
was even
So
that
you went to school for what was the degree you went to school for?
a business. I got an undergraduate in business, snuck through there somehow. And then I came back, and grad school was easy. I had all A's.
No, there you go. There you go. And
It's just when you're ready, you're ready.
you're ready, you're ready. Exactly. So tell us about your first job experience. How was that like and where was that first? Do you feel like professional job that now that you went to school and
Yeah,
you went
well,
to the workforce?
after
How
that,
was that?
I always worked. My dad made me work all the time in a factory. We had a factory made instrument clothes. I remember in the eighth grade, all summer long, I was working 40 hours a day, uh, and 40 hours a week. I hated it so much. I mean, that was jail. I made money, but no, fuck, all my friends were out at the swimming pool and everything. and I had to go to this uh, factory. I hated it so much. But then actually, when I went to college, I hated school so much, so I got a part-time job. So I had lots of money to play around with, and snuck through there somehow. And then after the Navy, then I couldn't get into grad school. There was a draft. So you either got draft, and I'm not a camper, so I didn't want to get draft and sleeping in the jungles. I mean, if I join the Navy, I get clean sheets every night.
There you go. There you
So
go.
that sounded good. Got out of there. Then I had GI money. I had to find a school that would let me in, give me a shot, and I did here. I got an MBA without and start. Oh, I was then back then I was even a professor in computer science and was starting a software company on the side.
Oh
And
wow.
that failed. Yeah.
But
And back in the 70s, I must have been the only person. I think I was the only person who failed at a computer business in the
what
70s.
what
But thank
what were you programming? What that like in the 70s? That
Yeah,
that was
it was programming software. Um,
what languages? I mean, was it like
Back then it was
yeah, it was
COBOL
COBOL,
and
COBOL.
Fortran and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
You know
Stuff
what?
that.
I'm gonna tell you something. You know, IBM Big Blue, because I'm a tech guy. I come from a tech background.
Okay. Yeah.
IBM Big Blue has developed a interface with AI. They're using
Uh-huh.
AI to translate COBOL code into a
Oh, really?
modern language. Yeah, and to give you
Oh,
an idea, I think Verizon, I think it has over 2 billion lines of code in their system.
in
Okay, still
COBOL? Yeah.
COBOL, 2 billion lines of code, and they're doing a $2 a code, $2 a line, $2 a line
Really? Oh,
to
that's
convert it.
terrific. Well,
So
no, I thought about that again when, the turn of the year 2000,
Y2K, right?
that
Right,
all the
Y2K, yeah,
planes were going to
right.
drop off the sky and all
Yes,
that.
yes, and
I
everything that
said,
was going to
my
stop. Yes,
COBOL skills.
everybody at that time, and believe it or not, to this day, COBOL programmers still, almost going to the
It's
extinct.
around.
It's still you can't find COBOL programmers, believe it or not. It's still around. After all these years, you
Right.
know.
Oh, I'm here. I wouldn't remember. But
I
I like AI now because it's like code, but in English.
it translated, yeah.
It's the same thing as writing code. You
I
just have to,
I just like the efficiency of AI, how quick
yeah,
everything happens. So
exactly.
I think
Yeah.
it's, and I think it's just like people say this is the beginning of the internet all over again, with the AI. So it's just really interesting about that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a thing about the golden nugget. This is a piece of the golden nugget in our segment that if there's any information you would like to share that would help somebody be a business person or better their career, anything you would learn from your mistakes, because you always learn from your mistakes, right? Anything you
Oh,
want to share that you want to leave them, and any golden nuggets you want to leave them behind?
Well, when you say mistakes, I think the best part of life are mistakes. The best part of life is the bad stuff. That's the only way you learn. If it was all good and you didn't fail, you wouldn't grow. And you learn from bad stuff. Uh, I I think a bottom line too for me is your heart is smarter than your brain. We all want somebody to tell us the answers and have a 1, 2, 3, 4 step success to anything. And everybody's 1, 2, 3, 4 step is different. And to me, if you take somebody else's uh, plan for success, it's not yours. And we're all organically different. You're trying to, if you're a petunia, you're not a rose. And a rose is telling you how to grow like a rose, but you're a fucking petunia. So you really can't do that. and and then you're not happy, and the failures did that for me after, and this is why I dress so funky, because this is me inside. I was in the, 3-piece suits and fancy clothes and all that kind of stuff, but that wasn't me. I was attracting the wrong people. So to me, when I started living inside out, because when I was doing everything everybody told me to do and I was failing, I mean, for a software company in the 70s, I was a computer science professor, so I knew the shit. And I still failed. And I wasn't having fun.
Mm.
And that was the key. I'm failing, not having fun, raising money, failing. This is nuts.
And
And I'm doing this to be miserable because someday I'll be happy. Now that's even crazier. Why am I doing this? I'm not happy now. And then I may be happy in the future and I'm miserable in the middle. This is
absolutely.
crazy. Yeah.
You know,
So it's
and
Good.
No, I was gonna say it's just about putting that positivity in the universe, right? Putting that
Yeah,
positive, because if you put in negativity, you attract
it-
negative, right?
absolutely. But to
So
me, it's listening to your heart.
yeah, I
You know,
love
like,
that. By the way, I love that. The heart is smarter. I love that.
yeah,
If it,
it's smarter than your brain, man. All
I
the
love
important
it.
decisions have to come from here. You use your brain so you don't go off a cliff, but the real thing, because I used to wear question mark suits only. And that was because in the information age, and I was trying to show people about information, and I did it for Fortune 500 companies and everything. And I said, hey, you can make right decisions if the right information. But now I believe, no, that's a small part of the job. You have to have the heart, because life is such a pain in the ass. It's hard as hell. And if your heart's not in it, you're going to give up.
100%,
You
100%.
you got to have the heart
And
there
and
to want to do this.
and you know what's interesting you say about this, because when you put yourself in in a positive mind frame, and you put
Uh-huh.
you exude positivity, is
Right.
the abundance, and that comes back to you.
Absolutely.
Does
Right.
definitely a
No, if
hundred
I
percent.
when I was trying to be like somebody else and do what other people say and everything, that's not attractive. If I'm out having fun and cursing and picking my nose and everything, I'm real.
Right, right, right. I
And
love it.
and
I love you. You know, sometimes that stands out.
well, that's lovable. See, being perfect is not lovable. Being strong is not lovable. Being vulnerable is lovable. Being imperfect is lovable. We pick up a little baby or a puppy and we just, you know.
Right, right. Wow, this is amazing. So thank you so much for the sharing that. And the other thing is, I wanted to ask you, what about network organizations, spheres of influence? Do you belong to any of these organizations, or that you hold dear to you? Any nothing? It's
I
just
mean, organizations to me, if they're a vehicle for educating. So, I'm on YouTube because instead of paying $100,000 for commercials, I could do them for free on YouTube.
100%. Yes, agreed, agreed. I
So
love it.
that's what I be. But I've created my own community now,
Yeah. So
and that's yeah.
s-
Go ahead.
speaking of your community, let's talk about that now. Let's talk about your
Uh-huh.
community. Talk about what you do, your services,
Yeah.
what you're doing now. Let's
And
talk about.
this is why I'm the happiest ever, because I'm the most effective ever. When I was selling millions and millions of books on New York Times bestsellers and doing million talk shows all the time and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I was a regular on Letterman, Oprah, and all this kind of stuff. And people bought the book and they did nothing. Sort of like diet books. We buy diet books, we keep getting fatter. But now with a community helping people, you
Right,
know, that is, and I'm able to do it for 20 bucks. I used to charge 2,000, to fat cats, who want to know this stuff. Now I'm able to do it for 20 bucks, because they get the help they need, and they don't get a directory of 10,000 sources. They're getting people, hey, just try these three things. You have a problem, come back. And we're able to do it because of AI. I mean, not AI, but because of the internet.
right.
And, and the feedback, I've never had feedback like this in my life, that people's lives are really being changed because of these programs. And I haven't done the programs. I don't know why they're thanking me. Should thanks the government. They're the
And,
ones that did it.
and so the people know out there, you and I met through TikTok.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Right, that's how we met. We met through TikTok. I
Right.
listen. I was one day I was doing one of these, and
Right.
you caught my attention. Your bright suits, and I was like, oh my god, this guy is cool. And I just put it out there, and so much. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
accepting for this. So this has been
You
it's been
bet. My
wonderful.
pleasure. No, always give me a chance to educate, and I'd love to do it.
Absolutely. And anything new coming up this year? Any new
Every
stuff? Any
day.
every day?
Every
Anything? Any
day.
projects? Okay. I
Every
just
day. You got to keep ahead of the game. You're old. Um, like right now, we're trying something where for $1, all you could eat for
nice
$1.
value menu.
Yeah.
Value menu. I love it.
And so here we're going to give you 5 days. You stuff yourself with all the grant information you need for 5 days. And
Excellent.
it's really educating people about what this country has to offer. And
Yes.
people don't know. The rich people know.
But again, once again, thank you again, and thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. And the other thing is, what's the best place, or the best way to reach you? What's the best what
Letsgohelp.com.
let's go help. Okay.
Right.
And then you're on social media, you're on
Yes. Well,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, YouTube and Instagram, TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how, again, that's how I found you on TikTok.
Yeah, right.
Wonderful,
Exactly.
wonderful stuff. I love your live streams, and I always
Wonderful.
follow you. Thank you so much for spending time with us. And
My pleasure.
okay, and if you'd like to be a guest on Winning on Wednesday, please sign up on our website, winningonwednesday.com, and sign up as a full-time guest. Thank you so much for spending time.